Okay, so this is our day one of review. We will review again on Monday, and we will review again on Tuesday. And then you're taking a mastery quiz over your summer packet on Wednesday. Okay? Yes. So, some of you did not pick up a summer packet, and that's all right. We just did not print more of them. They will be available to you in Google Classroom, and you'll just do them on a separate sheet of paper. Okay? And then you'll just keep going with all of them until, actually, these will be due on Tuesday. I'm a liar. Let me do Monday. Yes. Your summer packet that we're going to do today. The first part of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I thought you meant the whole thing.
No, it's like 2 pages. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about in the summer packet is multiplying fractions. Okay, so when you multiply fractions, the rule for that is that you multiply the tops, you multiply the bottoms, and then you simplify if you can. Okay, so I have a problem there for you. 7 over 8 times 1 over 3. Okay, so the rule says you multiply the tops, so the top's going to be 7 times 1, which is 7. And the bottom says you multiply the bottoms. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay? Can 7 and 24 reduce? Is there anything that will go into both 7 and 24? No? So that's your answer. Okay? On the bottom one, I don't always do that.
What the heck? No, I don't like that.
So on the bottom one, you have 4 times 2 over 3. Just give me a second. I just have to keep going with it. I know you can't read that, and it's going to hurt your eyes, but just go with it. What do you have to do to the 4 to be able to multiply the fractions? You have to put it over 1. So 4 over 1 times 2 over 3. Okay? So now you can multiply your tops. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. You can't reduce that. Leave it as an improper fraction. Do not make mixed numbers. I do not do mixed numbers. Okay? Improper fractions are what's that. Any questions? No? Okay. All right, dividing fractions. The rule for dividing fractions is you multiply by the reciprocal. What is a reciprocal? What does it mean to multiply by a reciprocal? No, you're doing the motion.
No.
Flip it. A reciprocal just means you flip it. So you leave the first one alone. So on the first example you have 7 over 8. No, you're right. And then you flip the second one, and when you flip that second one, now it becomes a multiplication problem. So then you multiply by 3 over 1. Okay? So all we did was flip the second one, and when you flip that second one, that division becomes a multiplication sign now. So 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 1 is 8. If you can reduce it, reduce it. 21 and 8 don't have anything in common. So that's it. Any questions? Okay, it's always the second one you flip, not the first one. Although it doesn't really matter, because it's going to be the same thing. Okay, so on the second one, we have to make 4 go over 1 again. Because to be able to multiply, you have to make it over 1. And then the 2/3, what are we going to do that? What's that going to become? 3 over 2. So this becomes 12 over 2, correct? Can 12 over 2 reduce? Yeah, to what? 6. Or 6 over 1. Either one would be accepted. I know these green lines are really annoying. I'm so sorry. But I had to turn off the whole thing to fix it. And then that turns off the Apple TV. And it's going to be a whole mess. We only have like 2 more slides left. Which is like 1. I'm a liar. We have like, no, 4. But okay, adding and subtracting fractions. So when you add and subtract fractions, the bottoms have to be the same. Or we also call that the denominator. Okay? So if they have the same denominator, that's easy. You just keep the bottom and you add the tops. So like in that first example, 7 over 9 minus 1 over 9, the bottoms match. So that's an easy one to do. Okay? Then in that second example, the bottoms don't match. When you have different denominators, you have to find an LCM. What does LCM stand for? Anybody? Least common multiple. So you're looking for the smallest number that both denominators will go into. And then you're going to make those fractions match up. And then once the bottoms match, then you can add across. Okay? So 7 over 9 minus 1 over 9. Am I going too fast? Are you guys okay? Okay. 7 minus 1 becomes 6. You subtract the tops or add the tops, but you keep the bottom. So the bottom is 9. So it becomes 6 over 9. Does 6 over 9 reduce down? Yes. 3 goes into both 6 and 9. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. The answer is 2/3. Okay. The second example gets a little more difficult. Yeah. So you're looking for the least common denominator. So you're looking for the smallest number that both 7 and 3 will go into. Most of the time, the smallest number is just multiplying, like, you're going to take the 7 and multiply it by the 3, and the 3 and multiply it by 7. Okay? But sometimes, like, if you have, like, 4 and 6, 24 would be the number if you multiply them by each other, but, like, 12 is a smaller number they both go into. So looking for the smallest number they both can go into. So 21 is going to end up being our bottom. So we're going to change 5 over 7 into something over 21. And we're going to change 2 over 3 into something over 21. Okay? So if I multiplied the 7 by 3 to get the 21, I also have to multiply the 5 by 3. So what is 5 times 3? 15. So I took that and multiplied it by basically 3 over 3. 5 times 3 gave me 15. 3 times 7 gives me 21. Everybody with me? Okay? So I did the same thing with the 2/3, but this time I'm going to multiply by 7 to get to 21. So 2 times 7 is 14. So again, you're just multiplying the top and the bottom by, oops, that should be a 7. 7 over 7. Okay. So now the bottoms match, so I can add across. So what's 15 plus 14? 29. I'm running out of room on the bottom of my screen. Your screen's a lot bigger, so sorry. And then over 21. 29 is a prime number, which means what? There are no factors. Nothing goes into 29. So that means that it's probably not going to reduce down. Okay? Any questions on adding and subtracting fractions? Excellent. Okay. Order of operations. How do we remember order of operations? PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? What does the P stand for? Parentheses. No. You do not need to write this down. You do not need to write this down. The S or the X stands for.
What is that?
They were lines. My hand hit the line button instead of the thing. E stands for exponents. Okay. What does the N stand for? Multiplication. I just write multiply normally because that's the same thing. D. Divide. A. Why am I writing like what? Oh, because on mine they're matching up. Yours are not matching up. So on my screen I'm writing it right next to it. Well,
You see that?
A is addition. Addition. And the S stands for. Okay. Biggest thing. What do you have to remember? What do you have to remember when you're doing PEMDAS? Yeah, that's one.
Do the
Good.
order, right?
Yes, you do it in order. So it tells you what order to do it in. You do your parentheses first, then your exponents. Multiplication and division, despite the fact that multiplication comes first in the word, multiplication and division are on the same line. So, a lot of times instead of writing it like this, all jacked up and whatnot, I will write it like this, where I have P, and then the E, and then the M and the D go next to each other, and then the A and the N. Because you should do multiplication and division on the same step. And you always go from left to right. Have have you guys seen those things on Facebook where, like, they will have a problem and they'll say, like, what's the answer? Comment below. Can you look at the comments? I don't know, you guys probably don't look at the comments, but me as a math teacher, I look at them. And it just astounds me, all the people that do not know how to do order of operations. Because there'll be like 50 answers there. And they're like, there's such a debate on why this is the answer. There's not a debate. It's the order of operations. Okay? And a lot of times people make the mistake because they will do all multiplication first, then all division. And if a division part comes first in the problem, you have to do it before the multiplication. Because they're on the same step. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, that's order of operations. And I forgot to put an order of operations problem in here. Or it might have been at the bottom of that page. I don't remember. So, now we're moving on to evaluating expressions. So, what does it mean to evaluate something? Just means find the answer. That's what evaluate means. It means work out the math, find the answer. So here we're going to sub in the value for the given variables. So in part A it says 3x squared minus 5x to the third. And we're going to solve that. We're going to evaluate it for if x is 3 and if y is 4. Okay? So I have 3 times, what was the x value that we're going to sub in? 3. So 3 times 3 squared minus 5 times, what's the y value we're plugging in? 4 cubed. Okay? Order of operations says you take care of what first? The parentheses, but in this case, parentheses is really an exponent problem. So 3 squared is what? 9 is 9, good job. And 4 cubed, 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4, I believe, is 64. Okay? Let me get my calculator out. 3 times 9, I can do that. What is that? 27. 5 times 64, that's a little bit more difficult for me. That is 320. And then 27 minus 320 is going to be negative 293. Okay, does everyone understand what it means to evaluate something? Yeah. Okay, plug in your x and your y, solve. Any questions on that? I'm not going to do part B. Is that cool? We're cool with skipping that? Anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Last thing we're talking about, simplifying the expressions. All that means is to combine like terms. Okay? What does it mean to combine like terms? Like, give me an example of 2 things that would be like terms. What? 2 and 4, okay. What about 5x and 3y? Are those like terms? No. What about 5x squared and 5x? Are those like terms? No. A like term means you have the same base with the same exponent. So meaning, like, if I have an x, that's my base. So an x squared and an x are not like terms because they don't have the same exponent. You cannot combine an x squared with an x. Okay, you can't combine a y with a x. You guys with me? So in the first one, what do I need to do to start simplifying that? What do I have to do first and foremost? Put that phone in your backpack or I will take it for the hour. What do I do first? Okay. Yep, so 3 times 4 would give me 12x. 3 times 7 is 21y. And then you just keep the negative 8x at the end. Right? So then what combines? The 12x and the 8x. When you combine like terms, you keep the variable portion and you just either add or subtract the coefficients, right? So the coefficient on the first one is a 12. Coefficient on the second one is a negative 8. So what's 12 minus 8? 4. And then we just add the 21y. Those can't combine because they are not a like term, so that is the simplified version. Is everybody clear on that? Okay? So with your table partner, or if you don't have a table partner, you can maybe you can go with those two, you can go with those two, whatever. Just get in a group. Chandler, you can go with those two. Get in a group, talk to each other, and figure out the answer for the last one. Okay? I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll go over it as a class. Okay? Is this yours? Are these your breadcrumbs from your breakfast?
Maybe.
So why am I cleaning them up?
I don't know.
Why are they on the desk next to Raiden?
Why would they be on this desk?
Why don't you pick up after yourself?
Why would they be on?
I don't know. They were on the desk behind him. I thought they were stuck on the ceiling. And then he was like, I think they're crumbs. And I remember you eating a biscuit. You guys are gonna eat here, you need to clean it up. Well, I get you were hungry. But I also said that you need to clean up your stuff.
Yeah, my bad. This is correct.
Like, it's not about you being hungry. It's about you didn't clean up after yourself. I don't care.
I didn't see it. I don't know how I would see that.
You guys have slightly different answers.
I don't know.
All right, 2 times 12a is. Oh,
24.
okay, hang on. Here. Okay, what's 5 times 3?
15.
And 5 times 5?
25.
Okay, so we combine the 24a and the 15a, which gives me
39.
39a minus 25.
Oh, wait.
I think you just added them a little bit.
No, I couldn't read it.
Okay, any questions? No? Okay, that is it. That's all I have for today. Yeah, so
So do I?